If you are here, probably your e-commerce site is not converting enough. Your conversion rate might be quite low, which leads to leaving a lot of money on the table. Just think about it. If your conversion rate nowadays is 1%, that means that out of 100 people that you are bringing to your website, 1% is converting and 99 of them are not. So what we want to do is to minimize this gap. Of course, now it's quite difficult to get like a 10-15% conversion rate, but what is possible is to get a healthy 2, 3, and even sometimes 5%. And with a high conversion rate, your business is much more scalable. Now, in order to solve a problem in your website, we need to find out exactly the core problem, because looking at the surface level is not going to help us. And that is exactly what we are going to talk in this video. Now, in any areas of your business that you want to solve, we need to conduct a research to find what, why, and where is that problem happening. So in this case, if our conversion rate is low, we need to make a research to find out where the problem is on the site that is holding people back to convert. Depending on each area, we could have different types of researches. So in one of my videos where I talk about customer search, there you can see different tools and different ways to make a customer search. Now in this case, to conduct a research for our website, there are 4 types of researches that you have to do. So the first one, which is the basic, is kind of a fundamental that you really have to take a look at, is the technical part. Because it doesn't matter how much traffic you're bringing to your site, if the website is not functional, people will leave your site right away. So a few questions that we have to ask ourselves here is, do actually all browsers and devices work? Or what is my speed of my website? This is critical. And to find out the answers of these questions, you don't need to assume these things. You actually can look at the data. So you need first of all to set up a Google Analytics account. And then once you set that up, after a few days, once you start getting some traffic to your website, then here you could go to this drop down audience, then technology, and then afterwards you'll click on browsers and OS. So here what you want to look at is the conversion rate. And what you have to pay attention to is the browser and the conversion rate for each browser, because if there is a big gap of a conversion rate for some kind of browsers, in that case you definitely know that there is some kind of problems on that particular browser. So looking at those patterns, you will know exactly where the problem is. Now, if you saw that there are some problems with a particular browser, in that case, most likely there are some kind of issues in the backend with the codes, which in that case, you will need to find a developer who can help you with that. And one more thing that you have to conduct a research on is at the site speed. So to find that out, you have to click on the drop-down behavior and then here at the site speed and overview. So again, you could take a look at what's going on at each browser, what is the speed, right? And then based on that kind of patterns and based on the data, you know exactly which browser is performing the worst. So then you can address that problem. Also, you could take a look at the site speed at each country and also at each page, which this is simply amazing, because in that case, when you're driving people to a particular page and you see that that particular page is loading quite slowly, you definitely know you need to solve that problem right away. And the same thing with countries. If you are getting traffic from different countries and you see that one particular country is getting kind of worse average page load time, and then you might know that the conversion rate at that country will be pretty low as well. Now moving to the next type of research, at this particular one, I would recommend actually having more people or maybe your team and kind of going through the entire funnel of your website, all the way from the homepage to the thank you page. So you have to kind of put yourself in the customer shoes. That's why I said that you also want to have this research with more people, because you want to hear multiple angles and different perspectives from different people. So once you go from the home page to the collection page and then to the product page to the checkout and eventually to the thank you page, you want to look if there are some things that distracted you. If that happens, if for example it pop up some kind of offers, or you are trying to push some different products and that pushed people to go to that product page and then eventually they stopped converting. In that case, you definitely know that is a distraction and you have to remove it as soon as possible. Also, like, I noticed that some brands, they're using tons and tons of call to action buttons, like add to cart, buy it now, add to wish list. This is a completely big distraction from people. You want to have a very clear idea actually of what people want to do on your website. So every single time you are adding to your website, or even if you right now have something on your website, ask yourself, is that particular section or is that particular offer going to lead my customer to the next action, which is to the purchase? If the answer is no, or maybe in that case you definitely know you can remove it as soon as possible. Now let's talk about the third type of research. What I want to track as well is the scroll and the click. So I want to find out exactly where people stop scrolling and where people click the most. And to do that, usually I like to use the app called Hotjar. You can set it up very easily. And then there to track the scroll and the click, there are such a thing that is called heat maps. So heat maps help you to track exactly where people are clicking on your website and even on exactly like pages. And also they tell you where people stop scrolling. So they do that by covering different sections with different colors. So at the scroll on the top, you will see that there is this very like light red color. In that case, you know that people are on that section. Once you scroll, you will see that that color is going to get lighter and lighter, and then eventually is going to turn into blue. When you see that it is like a very, very bold blue, in that case, people do not kind of go to that section. So you have to ask yourself, do you actually have important sections on your website that they are kind of at the bottom of the page and people do not see it? If the answer is yes, you need to restructure your website, your product page, so you could take those sections and put it somewhere at the top. And the same thing with the click tracking. If you're seeing a lot of people are clicking on a particular product, in that case, you definitely know that product has much more potential when it comes, for example, to promoting with your ads. If, let's say, you go to the collection and you see a lot of like some products, they don't get that much clicks, you have very proven data that actually those products are not so compelling to people. So you don't need to waste your money on testing them within your advertising campaigns. If you are allocating, let's say, once a week some time to look at these heat maps, it might be like, let's say, 2 or 3 hours. In that case, you will have so much data and you will be able to improve your website, and also that will help you to reduce the costs of acquiring customers and the spend on putting on the ads, because you already have the data, so you don't need to test that out. The fourth type of research, which is by far the most important one and is going to give you the most valuable information that you need, is actually asking your existing customers. So one thing that I would definitely recommend is surveys. So you could have different customer surveys and you could have a section where you ask your customers about the experience on your website and what they would like you to improve on your site. Also, you could have these polls on your website where you could ask people why, for example, they are not buying, what is stopping them to take action. Right, that is going to give you, again, super insightful information that you can use afterwards for the future adjustments. And then, of course, over time, once you get more questions from potential customers or from your existing customers about some specific things on your website, you could take a look at those patterns. If you see that people are asking you kind of the same question over and over and over, in that case, you definitely know that is a concern on the website that you could address right away. Now, after conducting the entire website research and you have data, what you can do is having an A/B split testing. So, for example, when you were looking at the heat maps and you noticed that a particular section doesn't get much views, but you know it's very important, you could have a page where you set that section somewhere at the top, and then another site where you move that section in another place and see how the conversion rate looks like at those 2 pages. Now, for this, definitely need to have traffic on your website, because in that case, if you don't have traffic, it's going to be pretty difficult to measure which one is converting the best, or it will take you much longer time to assess the results, which is still okay. But if you are looking for speed, you definitely need to have enough traffic. So this wraps up how you approach increasing the conversion rate. And in fact, this is how you approach any kind of problems on your e-commerce business. Every single time when you see a gap, you have to make a research on why that is happening. Do not try to blame, because that will not help you to solve that problem, right? You have to find it exactly where is the core problem. That is how you solve any issues. So if you are new to this channel, please subscribe and click on the notification bell to get notified every single time when I upload a new video. Every other day I upload a new video on this channel teaching you how to get quality traffic using social media ads and then converting them with a high converting website. Essentially, you get all the necessary things to succeed with your e-commerce site. So subscribe now and I will talk to you in my next video.